Austin Ekeler, of course, is out for. Did he get on one of those lists where he's out for 4 games?
IR. He's on IR.
So he's eligible in Week 18.
Yeah, so he's out for 4 games. He's missed 1
They
so
should just
far.
shut him down at this point. But
Suffered a concussion, big hit that he took.
Second one of the year.
And he's talking about the effects of the concussion. And here's
I didn't even remember how I got off the field. Like, I just remember kind of like coming to, as far as like remembering stuff. I had a like short-term memory loss. And I remember my wife was sitting in the room and I'm getting like evaluated by our medical staff, you know, in the back room. And so that's when I started to remember things. And then I started all of a sudden, was getting, you know, helped up and going and getting in the back of the ambulance to go get a CT scan. So, like I was definitely concussed and had seen some major symptoms there. So that's something that is.
Is that at the stadium, Austin, or is that at the hospital after?
That's at the stadium. And so basically, ever since I got into the ambulance, I could pretty much remember everything. But it kind of just showed you the severity of the incident. And this is my second concussion this year. The first one was versus the Bengals early on. And I actually didn't remember how I got off the field on that one either. So not good to see any memory loss, obviously, from taking a hit to the head. And so this one, you know, also has some pain in my neck that I'm dealing with too, just trying to get back through that. So that's kind of where the decision for all the IR stuff came from, where it's like, hey man, let's not rush you back. Let's kind of put you in a place where you can, you know, do the right thing, treat yourself, make sure you're 100%, and not mess around with coming back.
Do you think that they should shut him down for the rest of the regular season? I mean, he's eligible Week 18. I don't think he should play in that game. But do you think they'll play him in the playoffs if they make the playoffs?
I mean, if he's free and clear of the concussion
if he clears,
symptoms,
if he clears,
I'm sure
everything.
he'll want to.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
But that's scary, man. Two in a season and one that's so severe that you don't even remember getting help.
I mean, you can't remember stuff from that's like 20 minutes,
right,
or a half hour, to come off the field to get to the ambulance. I mean, it's probably 20 minutes.
Yeah, I can't relate because I didn't really play contact sport with any seriousness, but we were the intramural kings, you know, at Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
And so we played softball, we played flag football, we played basketball. You know, we did all that. That was fun. Flag football, I got knocked out. Me and this other guy, he was like, I don't know who he was, but we ran into each other.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not going to be surprised. It cracked my tooth. Okay. Literally lost half a molar.
Mm-hmm.
And I woke up. And it was like a scene out of a movie where 10 people were looking down at me and the ambulance was on its way.
Mm-hmm.
That's being knocked out.
Sure.
Right.
I think all of us have taken a bump like that at some point
you're
in our lives.
Out, and you're looking up and everyone's looking over you.
Yep.
And you're like, how did that happen?
I was riding my bike. Now this is when I'm 14 years old.
Yeah.
Of course you didn't have a helmet. When we were 14 years old, nobody wore a helmet.
No.
Not one person. I went over my handlebars, okay? And the next thing I knew, I was in a folding lawn chair on somebody's house on like, I don't know even what the street is.
Parkington?
No, a street on the way up to the pool.
I think Parkington. Was it that one or was it at Pond Meadow?
Maybe Pond Meadow. That might have been
where it happened?
All I know is I was on a rickety-ass $5 folding chair, and some good Samaritan, I guess, dragged me off the pavement and had put in like a cold compress.
I think I might have been with you. JP, didn't you get hit by a car like on Parkington? Like, I feel like you did.
I got hit by a car. I don't remember the name of the street, too.
Well, the one going up towards like the rec center.
JP was being
on your bike?
On his bike. I remember it.
He was being especially stupid when he got hit by the car. I mean, he can explain the circumstances.
I was racing
tennis balls or something.
I was racing EB's brother, and I had about 10 tennis balls in my hand and a tennis racket.
Shocker.
And I could barely use the brakes. And I just went wide left to look if anybody was coming, you know, that direction.
To look right.
And then I turned, and there was a car coming.
Nah, JP was being flippant about safety.
Yeah.
There was a lot.
And then
of
I wanted to get up. I got up immediately, my bike, and the person got out of the car. I was like,
you know what else he was being
move.
flippant about safety? Is when my youngest brother, Matt, who's now like 45 years old, whatever the hell he is.
Right.
He was pitching BP to JP, and JP kept saying, he was probably 10. Get closer.
Right.
Get closer. You're too far away.
Sure.
So he was about 15 feet from him. JP hit a line drive right off his freaking noggin. That was pretty
Hey, that's
flippant
part
about
of being a
safety.
kid, man. You got to take some bumps
Mr.
and
Bickle.
bruises.
Mr. Bickle.
I wanted to kill him.
JP was. You wanted to kill him.
I wanted to kill him.
JP was acknowledging the left and disregarding the right.
Yeah. It's not a coincidence.
That's a good one. I like
Yeah,
That's what he was doing.
yeah.
So Eckler is he's eligible for that to come off the IR in week 18.
That's scary stuff.
That's really scary. It really is.
You really want to? Yeah. I don't know. No
Mhm.
doctor. I don't know what to do. I'm sure he'll want to play.
Oh, of course.
But like,
And maybe in the playoffs,
Do those guys-
you put him in there.
when they start racking up multiple concussions, do they start thinking about, well, how many more of these can I take and still be like productive
In
and
life,
walk
in 10
around?
years.
When
It's
I'm
hard to think about the future when
I
you're
know
young.
it's hard. It's hard to
It
think
is
about
hard.
it, but it's like if these guys start racking up like 7, 8 documented concussions, like Chris Olave down in New Orleans,
He's had 2 or 3 this
he's
year.
dealt with a lot of concussions, and
Yeah.
like I think he's eligible to come back when they play the Commanders. But
Mhm.
I mean, these guys they have to start thinking about life after football.
Well,
Like they've got, they got 50
remember,
years to
this
live.
is the NFL. They had concussions in college.
Oh yeah,
Right.
high
All these
school
guys.
too.
Yeah,
Go back
of
to-
course.
I was telling
They've probably had Chris Olave's probably had 25 concussions.
Probably. I told Cakes, I asked Stevie the other day, we were just sitting around Thanksgiving. He's like, how many times do you think you got your bell rung? He goes, actually, we said, how many? Somebody said concussions. And they
Right.
said, well, he said, well, what do you describe as concussion? And they said, your bell rung. He said, I don't know, 5 or 6 a season?
Yeah.
Because that includes practice.
Right.
Correct.
He said probably 2 a year in game and probably another 2 or 3 in practice.
Mhm.
And then, you know,
Bell rung's different though than concussion.
then
that-
knocked out.
Like a lot of times the concussion, you're either knocked out or you get up and you can tell the way they walk. And we've seen it with Tua, who has that fencing
well, that's
response.
as bad as it gets when you have
Right.
that fencing
Well,
response.
it happened with Trevor Lawrence too. Trevor Lawrence had the stiff arm.
yeah.
Yeah.
He had the stiff arm.
The fencing response, yeah.
Is it, what do they call it? Fencing.
Fencing
Fencing,
response,
It
yeah.
was like so he's had multiple concussions.
100%.
The
And
hard
Eckler-
part though is when Cake says you have to think about it 7 or 8 times, there's no direct correlation into how you're going to be later in life to the concussions. Like Troy Aikman,
Mhm.
I don't know, maybe he complains about headaches and stuff all the time. He had his bell rung a million times
Yeah.
and had documented concussions
Mhm.
several times and maybe even retired a little early because of
I
the
think so.
concussions.
Steve
he seems
Young.
fine.
Yeah.
Steve
Well,
Young.
he's
Well,
fine
yeah,
now.
but
But you don't know.
You see him
you don't
3
know.
hours a
I,
week.
I
don't
said,
know.
I said it on.
But 20 years from now, he could have CTE.
He could.
Like-
You just don't know. Everybody's different. Brett Favre's got Parkinson's now or whatever
Yeah,
he's got.
right.
You just don't know.
But it comes with the territory. If you're going to choose to play football,
Oh
Yeah.
you're going to get them.
There are risks involved.
You're gonna
you,
get 'em,
You
yeah.
know that signing up.
The way it
Yeah.
was described to me from guys is that you just want to listen. There's no avoiding the contact, but you gotta avoid. And I think that's what they're being good at the back-to-backers, where you
Mhm.
get one and then you heal up in a week and then you get another one.
Yeah.
That's when it really does. That's when it's really hard for your brain to recover. That's when it really resets it, screws it up. So if you're gonna have concussions, you gotta spread them out. Like, I know that sounds crazy,
Yeah.
but it's the back-to-backers that are real close that really do the damage.
But just think about the guys who played in the 70s and 80s and
Oh, they had
90s.
a million
Oh.
of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They never came out of games. Earl
No,
Campbell.
Or if they did,
Yeah.
they'd be like,
Campbell probably got him, one,
there
one
was
they
a
get
game.
smelling salts.
There was
oh,
a
go
great
right back
story
in.
of Babe Ruth who got knocked out, and they literally had to stretcher him, and he came back and he hit. He came back in the game.
Right.
When it was
Probably
his
a
turn
hot
to hit.
dog in the dugout.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, even, the equipment's better.
Yeah.
The equipment back in the 70s, 80s sucked compared
yeah.
to what they have now. And
And
the
they're
helmets.
playing on the rock hard AstroTurf
Yeah,
fields.
and they will come right back in the game.
Yeah.
These guys are out for 4.
Mm-hmm.
They're on IR for 4 games if they get a concussion.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's pretty scary, man. By the way, the Commanders.
I was built for golf.
There was also.
Non-contact
by the way, I told
sports.
Doesn't
Bickle.
seem like it the way you walk.
I told Bickle I would pay him
It's true, too.
$50.
Yeah.
$50 crisp dollars
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
if he plays golf tomorrow. 18 holes. He's got to play 18 holes.
I don't know though. I don't even know what the forecast is. What
Very
is it?
windy.
It's going to be cold and windy. It's going to be brutal.
It was cold and windy yesterday.
I know, tomorrow's gonna be worse.
We played like 4 holes.
Right. I don't. You couldn't do it. Anyway, the Commanders hired new team president. Of course, Jason Wright is their current team president, but he resigned.
I think he'd actually step
finishing out the
down.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's an advisor.
so he's still there, but they've got a new one. Mark Klaus will oversee all facets of the team's business ops.
Was he a soup guy before?
Yeah, he worked for Campbell's.
I'll tell you what, this guy's legit. He was he went to West Point, played hoops at West Point, spent 7 years in the Army. He was a helicopter pilot.
He's a badass.
He's a badass. And then he got a job for Kraft Foods. And now he's going to be team president. He was named Campbell's president and CEO in 2019, so he was there for 5 years. And
So in that job,
the NFL.
Unlimited tomato soup for his grilled cheeses, EB.
Oh, that's
You
good.
get butt size.
I had that a couple weeks. You know what? I'm gonna tell my wife I want some more. It shows you that that's a job that's about sales, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right. So
Totally.
You know,
About
because you look at
cash.
that and go, "Where's the football?" It doesn't matter.
No,
About
it's
that.
not a
It's
football
selling
job.
the brand of the Commanders.
Even though Jason Wright played in the NFL, he always said, "I'm not on the football operation side,
Right,
business operation side."
And you know
Right.
what? Good. That's where he should stay. That's where any team president should stay. You do all the sales and the branding and the marketing and the corporate stuff, and leave the
My
football
guess
stuff
is
to Adam Peters.
because this is a better run organization, you may not hear that name ever again.
good.
Right? Mark Klaus.
I think you'll hear
and it's
it.
not to
You'll
say
hear it
it's
with,
not a negative. It's a positive. Like he's just going to do his job
Right.
in anonymity.
He's going to go sell sweets.
He's not going to be.
He's not going to be
cameras.
hiring GMs.
No,
or
but I think you're going to
coaches.
hear his name with the RFK deal, with
That's fine.
the logo deal.
Good. That's
all
what
those
should
kind
be
of things.
involved
You're
in.
going to
Maybe
hear
you
his
will.
name in the mix.
Maybe you will, or just Josh will just be the front man.
And maybe if Cakes is right, which I don't think he's going to be right, the changing of the name.
I still have to. I planted my flag.
Do you still believe
like
it?
Michigan has planted their flag at the midfield at Ohio Stadium.
He's lost a little of his vociferousness for it.
Not really. I mean,
I know that but you're kind of admitting that you have to defend it to the death.
correct.
I get that.
Yeah.
But
is
your
your belief-
belief, your inner
yeah.
core belief, as strong?
Yes, because the names. Everybody knows the name stinks.
That's a given.
yeah.
It's not that the name stinks. It's that the hassle, the practicality of
Right.
it, just all the factors.
I'm holding
go
out
into
hope.
it.
I still have hope.
Yeah.
Hope's a bad business plan, but I have it.
He's not admitting it, but his belief is definitely shaken.
It doesn't
A
help
little
me
bit.
that they're actually good under the Commander's flag.
Do you still
Like if they had
believe?
sucked this year under Jaden, now I'm not rooting for them to suck. I'm glad they're good. But if they had been bad, that's more ammunition for changing the name.
Even
don't wanna-
Cakes has gear. More people have gear. More
I
people
know.
have that. You
Yeah.
got your camouflage gear. Cakes
do.
loves camouflage. By
I
the
do
way.
love camouflage. For a guy that would never be in the military, I love me some camo gear.
Have you lost a little faith in your notion that for sure they're going to sign a new kicker this week?
No.
Still coming. I don't want to gloat too soon
Still
because it could. I don't want to
There's
gloat
so
too
much-
soon because it definitely
Do you
could
know
still
how much
happen.
time there is between now and the Saints game?
You're right. I'm
There's-
just curious where
it's-
you are on that.
There's eons of time.
Okay, I'm just curious where you
Yeah.
are on that.
I'm still resolute.
Okay.
And I'm just hoping to hear that breaking news sounder.
I mean, it
That the
definitely
Commanders
could
are signing a
happen,
new
and
kicker.
it'll be the 9,000th time I have egg on my face.